What if Darth Maul was revived by Palpatine? The galaxy had forgotten Darth Maul. Buried beneath the sands of Tatooine, his broken body had withered away, his soul lost to the darkness. 4 years, he remained trapped in the void between life and death, his spirit lingering in torment. But Darth Sidious had not forgotten him. Deep within the heart of Exegol, the ancient Sith Lord sat upon his throne, his decayed hands woven together in thought. The Sith Eternal chanted in the shadows, their voices merging in a dark symphony. Before them, a swirling mass of crimson energy crackled in the air, pulsing with raw, unnatural power. Sidious closed his eyes and reached out through the Force. "Rise, my apprentice." Far across the galaxy, beneath the burning twin suns of Tatooine, the sands trembled. Something stirred beneath. A skeletal hand burst from the earth, clawing toward the sky. Then another. A muffled, guttural scream echoed through the wastelands as a figure dragged itself free from the grave. Darth Maul gasped as he emerged, his body trembling, his vision blurred. He collapsed onto the sand, his mind reeling. Memories flooded back. The battle with Kenobi, the searing pain of his final defeat, the cold embrace of death. But he was alive. Sidious's voice slithered through his mind. "You belong to me once more." Maul clenched his fists, his head pounding with whispers of loyalty, forced loyalty. His master had revived him, and now he had a purpose once more. It was time to rebuild. Maul did not return to the galaxy in grand spectacle. He moved like a shadow, whispering through the cracks of a broken empire, stitching together the remnants of what was left. He traveled to the Outer Rim, where the New Republic's reach was weakest. The Empire had fractured after Endor, leaving warlords to fight among themselves for scraps. Maul found them, one by one, offering something greater than petty power struggles. A future. He stood before them, his presence alone enough to silence entire rooms. The warlords knelt, their fear evident. "You serve me now," Maul declared, "or you perish." Not a single soul dared to defy him. His influence grew rapidly. The Shadow Collective, thought to be long gone, was rekindled. Black Sun, the Pikes, even the remnants of Crimson Dawn, once his own criminal empire, bowed before him once more. And in the deepest void of the Outer Rim, Maul gathered the Imperial Remnants, forging them into something greater. An army. A force capable of toppling the New Republic. Maul's war was no mere rebellion. It was a calculated purge of the New Republic's influence in the Outer Rim. From the moment he emerged, he struck with ruthless efficiency, targeting vulnerable trade routes, remote Republic outposts, and key supply chains. The Outer Rim, which had long been neglected by the Republic in favor of rebuilding the core worlds, now found itself at the mercy of a phantom from the past. His forces were many. The warlords who once scrapped over the Empire's remains had sworn allegiance to him or died. The Shadow Collective and the Empire were reforged into a single, cohesive power under his iron will. And Maul did not wage war as the Empire had. There was no bureaucracy, no politics, only conquest. Entire planets fell without warning. His fleet, a patchwork of star destroyers, Mandalorian warships, and pirate vessels, emerged from hyperspace like a specter of death. Cities burned, garrisons were executed, and those who resisted were slaughtered without mercy. The message was clear. The New Republic was weak. The Sith had returned. Maul had not forgotten the Jedi. He knew they would come, seeking to stop him, and so he set a trap. On the planet Belsavis, a once secret Republic prison world, Maul's forces stormed the stronghold, releasing hundreds of war criminals, mercenaries, and former Sith loyalists into his growing ranks. The New Republic dispatched a strike team to liberate the planet. They never returned. Maul made sure their deaths were public. Their bodies were nailed to the walls of the burning prison, and transmitted across the holonet as a warning. The Republic hesitated. Fear spread. That was when Luke Skywalker stepped forward. The Force had whispered to Luke of Maul's return long before the reports came flooding in. He had seen visions of burning cities, of battlefields soaked in blood, of a crimson saber cutting through innocence like a scythe through wheat. And he had felt something else. A darkness long thought buried. Leia, standing before the Republic Senate, argued for immediate action. "We cannot allow this monster to rise again," she urged. "If we wait, we will be fighting a war we cannot afford." Many senators still feared war. They remembered the Empire too well. Luke, however, knew better. Maul was a predator. If they did not hunt him now, he would only grow stronger. So, Luke left Coruscant. The chase was long. Maul's forces were ghosts, always moving, never staying in one place. By the time Luke arrived at a planet under attack, Maul was already gone, leaving behind only ruins and the stench of death. On Corellia, he found Republic officers impaled on city walls, their blood painting messages in an ancient Sith language. On Ryloth, he walked through the charred remains of a Twi'lek village, where Maul's men had set fire to homes filled with screaming families. On Ord Mantell, he fought against Maul's lieutenants, barely escaping an ambush set specifically for him. Everywhere Luke went, he saw Maul's influence growing. And then, finally, he found him. A once thriving Republic shipyard now lay in ruins, its skeletal remains drifting in orbit like a graveyard. The air was thick with the scent of burning metal, the sound of distant explosions echoing through the vast industrial wasteland. And there, at the heart of the wreckage, stood Maul. His hooded figure was illuminated by the crimson glow of his twin lightsaber. Luke emerged from the shadows, his presence calm but unwavering. "So the Jedi finally come," Maul sneered, his voice dripping with venom. "You took longer than I expected." Luke studied him carefully. Despite the years, Maul was still a warrior. His stance, his grip on his saber, the fire in his yellow eyes. He was still the same relentless monster who had plagued the Jedi. "I'm here to end this," Luke said simply. Maul laughed. "You sound like Kenobi." There was no more talking. Maul ignited his saber, and the battle began. The Sith moved first, leaping through the air in a blinding blur of motion. His saber spun like a cyclone, striking with ferocious speed. Luke barely had time to raise his own weapon, meeting the attack head-on. Sparks flew as the two warriors clashed, the air crackling with raw energy. Maul was relentless. His strikes came from every direction, low sweeps, rapid thrusts, unpredictable spins. He moved with the precision of a master, his blade an extension of his fury. Luke countered with controlled efficiency, his footwork flawless, his defense impenetrable. He did not attack recklessly. He waited, reading Maul's movements, looking for an opening. Then he found it. Maul overextended, his saber slicing just inches too far. Luke struck. His blade grazed Maul's shoulder, burning through the Sith's armor. Maul howled, retreating a step, but his anger only grew. "You're good," he admitted, "but you still lack the true power of the dark side." With a surge of energy, Maul slammed his hand into the ground. The Force rippled outward in a shockwave, sending Luke flying backward. Maul lunged, his saber aimed for Luke's heart. Luke twisted mid-air, barely avoiding the strike. He landed in a roll, coming to his feet instantly. With a flick of his wrist, he hurled his saber forward. Maul dodged, just barely. The blue blade seared the side of his ribs. Snarling, he launched a counterattack, his strikes faster, more erratic. The fight turned into a blur of red and blue, each warrior pushing the other to the limit. But Luke was gaining the upper hand. Maul felt it. For the first time in years, he felt fear. His strikes became desperate, his precision slipping. And then Luke's saber came down, disarming him. Maul's weapon tumbled to the ground. Luke stood over him, his saber pointed at the Sith's throat. "Your war is over," Luke said. Maul's lips curled into a grin. "You underestimate me." Before Luke could react, Maul unleashed a massive force push, sending Luke flying backward. In the same motion, he summoned his fallen saber and vanished into the shadows. By the time Luke regained his footing, Maul was gone. Maul sat in his ship, his body still aching from the duel. He had lost this battle, but the war was far from over. Then, a whisper in the dark, a voice he had not heard in years. "Return to me, my apprentice." Maul's breath caught in his throat. Sidious. His master still lived. A cold smile crept across his face as he adjusted his ship's course. To the unknown regions. To Exegol. Drop the scenarios you would like to see in the comments, and I will pick one every week. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.